30 May, Puskás Arena, Champions League final, Paris versus London, Luis Enrique versus Mikel Arteta. Two footballing philosophies, two different paths to the top, two national champions. One club will seek to stifle their opponents with ball control, pace, and constant pressure. The other is prepared to endure, suffer, bide their time, and deliver a single lethal blow. PSG go into the final as perhaps the most exciting attacking side in Europe right now. Arsenal, meanwhile, are a side that know how to disrupt their opponent's play and win big matches through discipline and structure. Will kvaratskhelia and Désiré Doué be able to break down the flanks? Will Arsenal's midfield hold up under the pressure from Vitinha and João Neves? And crucially, will Victor Gyökeres be able to hold his own against Marquinhos and William Pacho if Arsenal only have sporadic possession? Today, we analyze the biggest match of the European season, the Champions League final, PSG versus Arsenal. This season's final truly looks like a clash between two footballing worlds. And what's particularly interesting is that both teams have earned their place in the decider. For the second season running, PSG look like a fully fledged, well-balanced team rather than just a collection of superstars. Luis Enrique has built a very modern, aggressive, and dynamic side. Paris control the tempo, are superb on the ball, and constantly create numerical superiority between the lines thanks to their incredible flanks, the Parisian wings. As for Arsenal, they are a team that has taken Arteta's system to near perfection. They are a highly organized side that knows how to be flexible. They can play an attacking game against most opponents, but against PSG, the scenario could be quite different. And this is where things get really interesting. Because it is PSG who look like the team that will try to take control of the ball from the very first minutes. That's their forte. Paris love to stifle opponents with possession, stretch their defenses, and constantly look for space through quick passes. The main battleground is the center of the pitch. The João Neves-Vitinha partnership currently looks like one of the best in the world at controlling the tempo. Neves provides intensity, pressing, and work rate. But on the other side, Arsenal will have Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard. It will be down to them whether PSG can impose their game. Rice is a key figure off the ball. He'll have to cover a huge amount of ground, especially when PSG start to overload the flanks. And Odegaard won't just have to create chances up front. He'll have to put in a massive amount of work in pressing. If Arsenal lose control of the center, the match could very quickly turn into a territorial battle dominated by Paris. And then there's the huge issue of the flanks. This is perhaps where PSG look most dangerous. Kvaratskhelia is capable of outplaying virtually any defender in a one-on-one situation. He's incredibly good at sudden changes of pace, cutting inside and creating chaos. On the other flank is Désiré Doué, a young, explosive, technically gifted player who loves to attack space. And here's the key question. Will Arsenal's fullbacks be able to withstand that level of pressure for the entire match? Because it's impossible to defend perfectly against PSG for 90 minutes. Paris will have their chances. And here, one cannot fail to mention Nuno Mendes. If PSG do indeed take control of the game, this could give the world's best left-back at the moment free rein. In such a setup, Nuno Mendes effectively becomes an additional winger. His runs could pose a huge problem for Arsenal, because then the Londoners will have to contain both Vitinha and Mendes' constant runs from deep at the same time, and that alone could break down the entire defensive structure of Arteta's team. But Arsenal do have their own trump cards. The main one is Victor Gyökeres, who hit top form towards the end of the season. He is a striker capable of turning even the slightest of chances into a goal, a powerful, aggressive, physically dominant forward. But the problem is that against PSG, he is likely to find himself starved of opportunities. If Paris really do control the game, Gyökeres will have to battle almost single-handedly against William Pacho and Marquinhos, and that is one of the toughest center-back pairings in Europe right now. Marquinhos brings experience and an understanding of the game. Pacho offers power, pace, and incredible reliability in one-on-one situations. And the question here isn't just whether Gyökeres can score. The question is whether he can consistently win the ball back and drive the team forward. Because if Arsenal can't break out of pressure, the defense will start to tire too quickly. And this brings us to the most important factor of all, Arteta. This is perhaps the biggest tactical test of his career. Because playing open football against PSG is extremely dangerous, but giving the ball away to Paris entirely is also a huge risk. So the key question remains, will Arteta be able to surprise the entire football world with an unconventional approach? Perhaps we'll see some unexpected tactical changes. Perhaps Arsenal will press more aggressively than many expect. Or perhaps, on the contrary, the Londoners will play as cautiously as possible and wait for that one perfect chance throughout the match. And that is entirely possible. because finals are very often won, not by flair, but by patience. You can see the predicted starting lineups on the screen right now, assuming everyone is fit. I think it's all fairly predictable. The only question mark for me is regarding Arsenal, Marino or Subiendi. It's up to Arteta to decide. This final looks completely unpredictable. On the one hand, there's PSG, who currently seem the slightly more cohesive and dominant side. On the other, there's Arteta's Arsenal, who are capable of producing the performance of their lives. And perhaps it is the small details that will decide the fate of the trophy. One successful tackle, one run by Nuno Mendes, one interception by Rice, one moment from Gyökeres, the magic of Kvaratskhelia. On 30 May, we'll find out which philosophy proves stronger. Paris or London, Luis Enrique or Arteta? And who will become the new king of Europe? What are your predictions? Drop them in the comments. Cheers and see you next time.